Episode 2: The Spirit of a Boxer. Arguably one of the greatest boxing trainers of all time, the legendary Customado. Before starting to train any boxer, he would first talk to them for weeks, just to prepare them mentally and spiritually first, in preparation of a long, tough, hard journey to the boxing championship of the world. It is not a trip for the faint-hearted, so a strong spirit must be built before the journey can begin. The boy has been competing in judo since he was 9, and judokas have strong spirits, so he is already fundamentally a fighter, but judo is a wrestling art, not a striking art, so he will need to adapt and create new tools and new habits. Judo is more of an explosive, predominantly anaerobic activity, whereas boxing leans more towards the aerobic activity, in saying that a boxer has to know how to be strong, yet be relaxed. It is a concept that only can be understood by the one who practices it. This is balance of maintaining a strong physical structure, yet staying relaxed enough to not gas out. As if you cannot learn to relax, that tension will clog precious oxygen being fueled to the muscles that need them to work. How can you maintain a strong fighting structure yet stay relaxed? It seems counterintuitive, but you must learn to fight relaxed. There is no way a marathon runner can run a marathon if he does not know how to run in a relaxed state. That is, he holds his structure sturdy enough to run, but must leave his diaphragm area relaxed and his muscles relaxed so he can breathe smoothly. With everything in life, we must create habits that help us walk towards our goals. In order to create habits, like uchikomi in judo, you must do things over and over and over again, as repetition is the mother of all learning. With boxing in particular, you must do things over and over again so that you can ingrain the movements into your body and your spirit, so that in the heat of battle, you are able to execute the move like it's supposed to be. And you can only achieve that through constant practice. The boy in his mind probably sees the glory and accolades that come with being a champion, and hence I need to warn him of the adversities he may face when traveling this path, as there will be times where he will have to question his courage and his spirit gets tested. When you are in the pocket and your sweaty opponent is in your personal space trying to hit you in your weak spots, being attacked in such quarters is an extremely confronting and uncomfortable situation for normal people. Their fight or flight senses would be triggered and most would go into panic mode. But I told the boy that it's during these times that seem most stressful that the boxer must be most calm in the mind and vigilant in the spirit. So I asked him, do you think you can stay calm in such adrenaline rushing situations? The boy said, Dad, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to become undisputed. I nodded and commended his spirit and informed, well, that is the type of spirit you will need to get to the top in this world. So the boy admittingly nodded. Even the thought of getting into a boxing ring will make most people feel scared and nervous. So most definitely when you fight for real, these feelings will arise. No matter who you are, the key factor is whether or not you can deal with these feelings and move on, or these fears overcome you, or you overcome them. So I told him there is a method and technique for everything, even magic tricks. You just have to learn and practice that technique. And I've taught him from a young age to just learn to relax the body and focus the mind. As a fighter, you must be specific in this specific state when you prepare for battle and when you do battle. And you must maintain this state until battle is finished. This is critical. The spirit must be pumped and ready to go, but the body must stay relaxed and not needlessly burn energy unnecessarily. This can only be achieved through practice and experience. The boy has been practicing this technique since I taught him at a young age, when he started to compete in judo. So the boy knows the concept, but just now has to learn to reapply that into the boxing ring. If not for his judo experience, I would need to spend at least a year or so building up his spirit to prepare for battle, and also building up his basic conditioning as any top athlete would need. But because he is already approaching a decade of judo training, a lot of those hurdles have already been mostly jumped. So it will be a matter of refining, as let me say that the spirit of a judoka is formidable. But as they say, everyone is confident until they get punched in the face. There is no answer around this obstacle, so a boxer must constantly nurture his spirit to ignore pain and fear, but rather has to learn to embrace them, as you cannot become a world champion boxer without facing pain and fear. So these are the barriers that deter the majority to even think about stepping into the square ring to do battle. It is not a place for the faint-hearted and can only be ruled by the fearless spirit. Now, for those who can overcome the mental battle of entering this realm, they will then need to embrace the major key factor that will separate the good from the bad, and also the great from the good. Well, as we walked and as we talked, it seemed the boy's confidence and will was growing stronger, as every box that I had checked and had to tick, the boy ticked. Whilst I am excited for my son to pursue a path that he wants, I obviously, as a parent, like a knee-jerk reaction, get nervous at the thought that he might take punches to the sensitive targets of his body and feel pain, something no parent wants for their child. So I worry if he will be able to stand courageous at those times and overcome those fears and moments, as either you overcome them and continue to the top of the food chain, or you subside and submit to defeat. It is a daunting thought, but it is a part of the path. More than anyone, the boy has to be comfortable with it, as he is the one who is going to experience the pain. In saying that, the great Conor McGregor said that there is no opponent. The only opponent is you, yourself, and your will. So, this battle is not a battle with a third party, but rather a battle with your internal spirit. Nearly every fighter ever filmed is at the tip of your fingers. It is a daunting thought, but it is a part of the path. Since we have ticked a lot of the fundamental boxes to start this journey, I have informed him that if he wishes to excel in the sport of boxing, like with anything, he will need to study it. I told him when I was growing up, it was hard to get videos to watch, so I would get one Mike Tyson documentary video and just watch it over and over and over again, juicing out every ounce of information I could. Whereas in the current era we live in, there is an abundance of information and video footage to study. Nearly every fight ever filmed is at the tip of your fingers, as all you have to do is just turn on YouTube and search any fighter or any fight you want. So I asked him to just watch boxing fights and documentaries about great fighters just once a day, as it is like his daily studies for school. He must do it regularly. A pity he doesn't study school too much. He willingly acknowledged, which was surprising, as his teenage spirit hardly listens to me otherwise. Sometimes destiny works in strange ways. So we will see if this is destiny, but it already seems that somehow the stars are steadily aligning towards his path. As we walked and talked, I told him some more intimidating stories of pain in the sport of boxing, just in case. And one of the biggest pains of the sport is making weight. Most fighters can compete longer if they wanted, but the reason why so many fighters have to retire early is that they lose to the scales. The scales have pretty much retired every professional fighter in history, as boxers may not fear going into the ring to fight, but no matter who you are, all boxers fear the scales. And during the competitive days, a boxer must live by the scales and die by the scales. As if they don't make weight by competition time, they breach the contract. That means losing a portion of their purse or potentially losing the whole opportunity to fight. So I warned him that you need to practice self-discipline, and informed the great motivators that you will need to practice self-discipline, and informed him, as per the great motivators, that without self-discipline nothing is possible. So I asked the boy, before we start training and really commit to this journey, I asked him, do you think you can study it? I asked him, do you think you can stay sturdy on the path, as the long-term plan is to compete in the amateurs and hopefully represent his country in the 2032 Olympics? As the long-term plan is to compete in the amateurs and then hopefully represent his country, Australia, in the 2032 Olympic Games. Then he can enter the pro ranks. The pursuit of glory, the journey has truly begun.